Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from a beautiful undisclosed location in the United States. Today's topic is going to be the courage to move forward. Think about that for a minute. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the courage to move forward, what does that mean exactly? It means, well, first of all, it means exactly what I'm doing and that I'm certain many of you on the channel are doing as well. And again, thank you very much for being here. The courage to move forward, it means that post-narcissistic relationship, you will figure out that you will have been tested and that you will be tested more and more. And that there are many times on the healing path, which of course is not linear, that the tests will come at you rapidly. In other words, perhaps you're having a couple of days that are going well, and then maybe you have a setback or two. And then vice versa. You have maybe not one of the best days, but then all of a sudden you get a bunch of wins in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And that is the healing path. And there are times and days when you will be challenged. Believe me when I tell you, during the narcissistic relationship, were you challenged? Exactly. Were you courageous? Did you give your all? Did you do everything you possibly could to maintain a somewhat stable relationship? Of course you did. Did you give to a fault? You did. Most likely you were a people pleaser and or had no boundaries, but that was then, this is now. And post-narcissistic relationship, you have to have the courage to move on. Or if you're looking to exit the narcissistic relationship, you certainly must have the courage to move on. What that means is, believe me when I tell you, many people will doubt you. Many people won't understand what you're going through unless they've experienced a narcissistic relationship themselves. That includes everybody, family members, friends, whomever. Some of your lifelong friends certainly won't understand it unless they've experienced it, because why? Because they can't wrap their head around it. And when you are leaning on people post-narcissistic relationship, when you're getting the wisdom, many times people won't have the bandwidth to understand what you're talking about. It's a lot to unpack, but it's true. But it's at times like these, or perhaps when you are enduring the smear campaign, or you have endured the smear campaign. In other words, when you have lost a bunch of friends or social circle or loved or trusted ones or extended family members, you're going to need to have the courage to move on. Because what you're going to have to do, and believe me when I tell you, you're going to have to fight, and you're going to have to fight for yourself. Because perhaps throughout the relationship with the narcissist or narcissists, maybe it's a family, you were believing that people had your back and they had your best interest at heart. They didn't, they don't, they never will. That's not to say that people on the planet don't want you to do well. There are plenty of people who are rooting for you, plenty of people who will be there to support you. But many times when you are at your lowest point, example, a narcissistic discard, if that's what happened to you, or perhaps you ended the relationship. But many times when that happens, you are about as isolated and alone as you possibly believe you can be. And you will have some dark days. You'll have some days that will challenge you, and you're going to have the courage to move on. You're going to have to go to bat for yourself when, in fact, many people that you thought would have your back, they don't. Why? Because most likely these people have believed the false narrative of the narcissist or the smear campaign, or they just don't want to get involved. Or some people, unfortunately, are happy that you're not in a good spot. Yes, it's disgusting, but it's true. Many people on the planet don't face the adversity that you have and or are facing post-narcissistic relationship. Many others will not get the wisdom. They won't get the education on channels like mine and many others. Why? Because perhaps they don't have internet. Perhaps they don't have the craving. Perhaps they don't have the determination or the courage to get the wisdom. But you, who was on the channel, you are understanding this. And being courageous is something to be proud of. It's not just from a movie or from a novel or from a book. This is your life. And your life depends on you to be there for yourself, when many times most others weren't and or aren't there for you. So yes, perhaps throughout your life or your childhood or your upbringing, you believed that everybody thought like you did, or everybody or most people had your best interest at heart. We now know that they don't, and they never will. Again, it's not a doom and gloom at part of the painting, of the picture I'm painting. It's reality. To see on this planet, you have to go to bed and you have to be inside of your own head by yourself, meaning your thoughts, your experiences, your emotions, everything about you is what makes you you. And to face some of the darkest days post-narcissistic relationship, you'll have to be courageous. You will have to be honest with yourself. Perhaps you'll have to heal childhood wounds. Perhaps you'll have to really introspect and understand how and why you entered the narcissistic relationship. Or in fact, perhaps you were born into a narcissistic family and you just discovered that someone in your family is a narcissist. So that's a whole different thing, but you're gonna have to process it. You're gonna have to have boundaries and insulate and protect yourself. You're gonna have to be courageous and do things that benefit you rather than doing things that benefit other people, specifically the narcissist. Keep in mind, the narcissist wanted well, let's say they wanted you down in the mud with them, but they wanted you working on that hamster wheel, going around and around, hoping you would never figure out the manipulative tactics and techniques that they have used on you. And again, this isn't the business place. It's neighbors, it's family members, it's lovers, it's friends. The narcissist is everywhere, unfortunately, and you owe it to yourself to be courageous and to not listen to the false narrative and the false rhetoric of the narcissist once you get the wisdom. That is exactly why I say to you on the channel so frequently, there are 3 versions of you. There's the version of you, the first one, pre-narcissistic relationship, when you were just living life, doing what you were doing. The second part of you version of you is when you were in the narcissistic relationship and you entered the narcissistic fog, when you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what was up or down, in or out, sideways, backwards, whatever, because you were being manipulated by the narcissist. And then the third version of you, which is the best one ever, is you post-narcissistic relationship, when you understand you are the priority, you come first, second, and third, and that you need to be courageous. And yes, you will have some dark days. Yes, you will have some challenges. Yes, you will absolutely have to put yourself back together. Yes, you will have to practice radical acceptance. Yes, you will have to understand the definitions in the glossary of terms in the narcissistic abusive cycle. It's what you're going to have to do. If you want to heal properly, you need to actually take all of your energy out, and instead of giving it to the narcissist or to exterior forces, which you cannot control, you need to place it back into yourself. And in time, in your time, you will heal. It will take a lot of work. You will need to be courageous. You will need to be strong, but changes will happen. And slowly, believe me when I tell you, if you're taking the proper steps to heal, you will get to where you want to be. You will be at that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, when you just don't care anymore about the narcissistic relationship. You will understand that it's actually something you had to go through. And in fact, it has changed you for the better. I understand if your relationship ended recently, that may not be the words or the wisdom you want to hear, but it's a fact. If you actually look back, for those of you veterans on the channel, drop comments. But if you actually look back at the narcissistic relationship, did you want to go through it? No. If you knew you were going to be manipulated and abused, would you have entered the relationship? Absolutely not. But yet you had to go through it. Why? Because there's no such thing as a coincidence on the planet. And that was your destiny. It's just, there could be no other way. Just like I'm creating this video and you're watching it, this is where you're meant to be. If you were meant to be somewhere else, you would be somewhere else. So going back, many times people say, wow, I wish I didn't go through the relationship. I get it, I understand, but you can't change the past. You can't predict the future. You need to live in the present moment and learn from the past and do yourself to insulate yourself and be courageous about the future. So being courageous, it does take courage. Example, to create videos and to go live and share my raw emotions with the world. It does, but does it come natural to me? Absolutely. Do I think twice about it? No, I don't. I share my insight each and every day. I create content each and every day and share with you my experiences on my path, on my healing path. And I want you to understand that you are not alone. Whereas you may think you're alone, and perhaps as I'm creating this video and you're consuming it, maybe you are physically alone, like I am right now here, but we're all together. We're all on the same path, headed in the same direction, just taking different footsteps. It's a fact. That's why this community was built. It was to be courageous, to have a voice when your voice was smothered during the relationship. It was to be courageous, to have your perspective be heard, to have your intentions and your purpose be fulfilled. And it was to let you know that whereas perhaps in the past you were in the relationship with the narcissist, you were isolated, you became an extension of them, and you were being manipulated and your resources were being extracted. That was then, this is now. My hope is you're getting the wisdom, you're moving forward each and every day, and you're being courageous enough to do new things. Example, moving from a different country to a different country, starting a business, teaching a class, taking a class, reading a book, writing a book, being courageous enough to tell a sibling that you love them, reach out to an old friend, say, I'm thinking about you. Be courageous enough to share your emotions in front of people, not thinking about what they're going to think about you, but just be raw and do it. Now, I'm not saying do any of these things in a negative context. I'm saying if you want to laugh, laugh. If you want to shed a tear, shed a tear. But don't be ashamed or embarrassed. It takes courage to be an authentic, genuine person. And sincerely, many people these days, they just follow the herd mentality. They are in the everyday fog, not the narcissistic fog, the everyday fog. And I am trying to let you know that the more genuine and honest and authentic you are with yourself, the more you will surround yourself with abundance and good people. It's a fact. There's no other way other than that to happen. You can't do that, however, if you have toxicity in your life, meaning if you're still in the narcissistic relationship, or perhaps you're looking to get out of it. Understand that you will heal from this. You will be better, but it will take courage. It will take your strength. It will test you like nothing else on this planet has the ability to test you, because you're going to have to wrap your head around so many different layers of the onion, which is the narcissistic abusive cycle. You're going to have to be authentic and honest with yourself as to what has happened in the past. But most importantly, you're going to have to take the lesson of courage and commitment, dedication, devotion, resilience, and strength, and you're going to have to apply it to yourself. Think of how hard you worked for the narcissist in the relationship. Okay? You're going to have to do that again, but this time for yourself. And remember, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And being courageous, not everyone is courageous. They're really not. If you pause and think about what I'm telling you right now, that's why if you watch a movie, again, I don't watch movies, but if you watch a movie, so sometimes the hero is really courageous and you're like, wow, that's great, right? It's because it's you don't see it every day. Think about it. If everyone was courageous, this planet would be a totally different planet, but it's not. That's why when someone is courageous, which is my hope it's going to be you, if it hasn't already been you, that means you're doing the right thing. You're doing things because they are appropriate and not because people are looking at you or because you're counting how many plaques you have on the wall. You're doing it because it's the right thing. And it takes courage to be an individual and to be proud of who you are, no matter what your skin color is, what language you speak, where you were brought up, or what your education. If you're doing the right thing each and every day, post-narcissistic relationship and in life in general, there's going to be nothing but abundance going your way. That's the law. That's the way it works. So, guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from beautiful and undisclosed location in the United States. This is Andrew. Wow, that was a close one. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. God bless you. I love you. Have a great evening. I will talk to you tomorrow. And this video, every day I'm creating my content. I won't stop. I'm a little rusty because I'm a little hoarse because of traveling and everything, but I want to sincerely say thank you to each and every one of you who wished me well, who has been on this journey with me, who continues to move forward each and every day. I am proud of you all more than I can tell you. Recently, I've shed some tears. I think you understand now why I shed those tears. It was saying goodbye to a large part of my history in my life, and it was also welcoming my new and embracing my new life here. And it takes courage to do things like that. I'm telling you right now, it does. If I can do it, you can too. So remember, God bless you. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. And I will find an outdoor location tomorrow, I can assure you. I've been doing a lot of traveling, but I am so blessed and grateful to read and to comment on all of your comments and to watch the community grow. I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I am touched, and I am so blessed to be a part of this community and to share my insight and wisdom with you. I love you all so much. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.